Welcome to Raise a Glass podcast. I'm here with special guest Houston Alexander. He's known for being in the bare knuckle fighting championship with 4 wins, 0 losses. He's also been in the UFC. He's known for his infamous UFC 71 and 75 knockouts with him being 1 minute or less. And he's been known for helping a lot of people within the Omaha community, specifically with his kids program, helping kids be introduced into hip hop. Welcome to the podcast, Houston Alexander. How is your morning going?
It's doing all right, brother. I appreciate you having me, man. I feel underdressed, man. You're looking all fly and silky and smooth.
I mean, I dress like this.
You look good, man.
I mean, I gotta dress like this for the greats,
Hey, man.
So.
Hey, I'm not mad. See, that's called being professional, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for having me on your podcast, brother.
So what's it like being in the BKFC, bare knuckle fighting?
Well, the first time I saw it on TV, I was like, oh man, geez. I said, would I be able to do that? And I said, yeah, because I'm crazy enough for it.
Well,
but I saw it. I thought it was something because all it is just boxing without gloves, and I thought it was something I could do automatically.
so is there any like technique differences between like boxing with and without gloves, or?
Well, I think without gloves it's a lot tighter. With gloves, you got some leeway, but with no gloves, there's no leeway at all. So if there's an inch separating your fist from your face, you're getting hit in it if you don't block it. So I think the fact that you have to stay a little tighter with having no gloves on, that's the difference.
And do you have to like condition your fists, or do you because I heard like in the UFC, like with certain fighters, like I've looked into a lot of Boss Rotten. He's like one of the OG heavyweights in the UFC. He would punch a certain way where like he would use the bottom of his wrist to punch.
Yeah.
Because there's like a science of if you use your knuckles over time, they can.
You know what? I don't care what science you use. Something's going to get broken. That's the science. But see, I think the way I strengthen my hands, I take old Converse shoes and I squeeze them to death.
Squeeze them to death.
Yeah, I squeeze them like, Do you believe that I take old Converse shoes and I squeeze them? Isaiah?
I've never heard of that. So
I've never heard of it either. I just made that up. No, but for a long time, I conditioned my hands with the vice grips that you use, or the squeezy things you might see at someone's job.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's just always constantly gripping your hand. You know what I'm saying? So if it's not the vice grips or something squeezy, you always want to strengthen your hand in that way. And I've been doing that for several years because I got something even right now I have something in my car to where I'm squeezing and tightening my hands all the time and trying to strengthen them. The muscles in your hands are important for doing bare knuckle.
Because if you don't, your hands can get seriously.
Well, again, it don't matter how you hit or what angle it's going to hurt. But but from what I've been told, over the years doing MMA, you have to sharpen your body up, and you have to become armor. Your body has to become armor, or silky smooth like your suit.
Silky smooth.
Yeah, real silky. Yeah, that's silky right there. I'm jealous.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So, what was your? Because when I was doing research about you,
yeah.
I heard you were also in like multiple MMA organizations. You were with Bellator,
yeah.
You were with UFC, you were with Shark Fights. Like, what was that like?
Any organization promoting a fight, and and again, if a promotion is interested in you, and there's a right situation for it, you want, and they got the right fighter, why not? What I'm saying? I don't care if it's the UFC, if it's a Shark Fight, Bellator, a fight is a fight. Getting paid for the fight is the same thing as getting paid in the UFC or any place else. So, for you to have done all that, I had to put in the work to do it. And before I even got into any of those organizations on TV, I've had over 200 fights before that.
Amateur fights?
Yeah, well, they weren't amateur because I got paid.
Oh,
Right? So it's not amateur if you're getting paid. And I got paid. I've been from the beginning got paid from all my fights.
how many amateur fights have you done
No
before?
amateur fights. Zero amateur
Oh,
fights. I've been paid from day one. From bars to arenas. I've fought in a stadium where they do rodeos. So I've done it all.
wow. So, well, is there any differences between training boxing, grappling, and kicking? Like, is the techniques different, or is it similar range of motion?
Well, when you're doing MMA, the most important thing that they don't tell you is transition is the most important part of any part of MMA. To where you got to transition from boxing to wrestling to jujitsu to this, and it's a split second of your transition, because if you're a split second off, you can either get beat or win. So transition to everybody that's watching is the most important thing in MMA or boxing or anything. Transition is the most important.
Transition?
Yep. Sort of like a young man trying to transition his face into a beard. You go from light shadows, dark shadows, and then beard transition.
Mm. So,
I'm throwing Isaiah off. That's okay. It's fine.
no, it's okay. We need
It's
that
fine.
humor.
Yeah.
So, also, I believe you grew up in what was it, East St.
East St.
Louis?
Louis, Illinois.
So,
That's where I'm from.
so what was it like growing up in that area?
Oh man, you're coming from a town where it's a river town, and it's right across from the main city of St. Louis, and it was one of those train towns, those Union Pacific towns, that brought in a lot of labor from all over with the train union, and we were kind of in the and we're coming from that generation where you had all these towns all across the country that were burnt down due to some riots, race riots.
Hmm.
And East St. Louis, right across from the main St. Louis, was one of those towns that got burnt up.
Wow.
So we came out of the ashes of all those burnt up, those situations, it's just one of those rough areas that was still kind of, it was an industry town, but we just came out of that era where it was a small town, and it was kind of poor,
So industry town, like, what do you mean?
When I say industry town, you had again, you had the railroad, you had steel factories, you had all these factories on this town on the river that all of a sudden just left. So then you have a bare town full of nobody, no companies around. So you made the best of what we could.
Mm. So while you were growing up, did you have any fighting influence, or was it until like later, as you got older?
Fighting it. Let's go back to when I was 8 years old at
Hmm.
a school called Canada Elementary. I was on the playground with a Snickers bar. Okay, and this is a true story, and I'm telling on your podcast. These kids tried to take my candy bar, and there was maybe 4 or 5 kids, and they did not successfully take my candy bar because I whooped their asses, all 5 of them. But that's that fighting spirit I've always had, and especially coming from a family full of people who are fired up all the time, and so I'm still looking for those guys that try to take my candy bar. Several years later, I'm still looking for y'all. If you were from Canada's elementary, I'm still looking for you.
So in a street in a street fight, does it
Mm-hmm.
usually start with boxing? Because I heard that like in a street fight, anything can happen. Someone can
I
find a
think with a
knife.
street fight nowadays, it starts with a gun.
Wow.
So it's a little different from now. Back then, no one's putting up their dukes anymore. People are quick to pull a gun, but if you had to get into any type of street fight, I think that's why people pull guns, because they've never been in a street fight. When was the last time you've been in a street fight? Isaiah?
Very long time.
Very long
I
time.
wouldn't even really consider it a street fight.
See, what did you guys push each other and that was it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, but last time, I've been street fighting ever since I was a kid. But that's my generation of kids. We fought. We didn't shoot first. We fought. and then we became best friends afterwards. It seemed in a lot of those situations, but now they're not shoot they're shooting nowadays and not putting any dukes up. And this is when you know you're talking old when you say put your dukes up. Put your dukes up. Who says that? How come you didn't correct me on that, Isaiah?
Dukes up.
Yeah, putting your dukes up.
Dukes up. I mean, some people say squabble. Some say
Oh yeah,
beef.
okay. Let's say squabble now. Let's use that term. We're not gonna say dukes up. We're not gonna say dukes up. We're gonna. No one squabbles up nowadays. They like to shoot them up.
So, what was the story behind your infamous 49-second knockout in
Mm.
UFC 71?
Um, when we got the contract from a tournament I had won out at the casino, and I thought it was going to a different organization when I won the contract out of the casino, and I got a call from the manager asking, "Hey, will you be able to do this fight?" Instead of going out to where I was supposed to go originally, he said to me, "Would you like to go out and fight this other guy?" I'm like, "Oh, who are you talking about?" For the UFC. I'm like, "Okay." I never really watched the UFC when I was fighting. You
Hmm.
know why, Isaiah?
Why?
Because I was too busy fighting to watch the UFC. So I was fighting at least once a week, and got the contract to fight Keith Jardine because I guess the person he was supposed to fight um, got hurt, and so I was asked to come in as an alternate, and that's usually how it happens when you get a chance, and went to Vegas, and I'm cutting it short. Went to Vegas. We trained. I got a coaching staff together. Um, Went to Vegas and told Dana White to his face, "I'm going to whoop your boy's ass." Dana was like, whatever. But then the night of the fight, guess what happened? He got his ass whooped. So the crew from Nebraska came out to Vegas as alternate, and we end up being successful because I trained hard, and back then they didn't have YouTube, so they didn't know about the other hundred and something fights that I had before I got there, so they couldn't do any research. So, but after that, it was cool that we had won because we really was I really was doing it for all the people that was back home, for all that hard work that we had did to be in that situation.
Because I think I saw a clip of that fight where I
Mm-hmm.
think you almost, at first, you almost got knocked down, but then you got back up immediately.
All right. Well,
And
and I think that's kind of interesting too because he tried to hit me and I caught myself trying to slip it and go back. So it looked like I was getting hit, but I actually didn't get hit. That's why I bounced up so fast.
oh,
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was an interesting fight. Anytime I go back to it's just, all that stuff was instinct. It was you fight with instinct, and again the transition from going from oh man he tried to hit me to going crazy. The transition was instant. That's why transition is the most important part of fighting.
and would you say your power is natural, or do you just have? Because they say some fighters just have natural knockout power. Like Gervonta Davis is 135, but he
Hmm.
has knockout power.
Well, a lot of it comes from from having a natural ability, but a lot of times, if you're putting in the work, you're doing the strength and the conditioning, which kind of adds on to your natural abilities anyway. I think it starts with having a natural ability, but sometimes um, having natural ability it just doesn't cut it. You still gotta take yourself over the edge a little bit by conditioning yourself.
So, do you still continue the same sort of training regimen now? Like, do you still train MMA?
Oh yeah, I mean that's something that I do constantly every day. Whether I'm either boxing, wrestling, or doing something, I try to do a little bit of everything every day. You got to keep your knife sharp, is what they say, and so I'm always constantly working out, trying to keep my knife sharp. as you should. The day you stop doing things is the day you're like, okay, I'm good. But I'm never good with waking up and not doing nothing.
Right. What's your regimen nowadays? What does it look like?
Man, I still get up every morning, and again, you're still doing the conditioning, and you're still doing the running. It's like a routine. Um, you're doing you're constantly working the whole entire body. A lot of bodybuilders like separating their body parts every day. Oh man, today I'm going to do a chest. Like, okay, stop that. We move as human beings, move with our whole entire body. Work your whole body out. So that's what I do. I work my whole entire body out
Do
every
you
day.
do you include weightlifting as
Oh
well?
yeah, everything, anything that works you get helps you get better, include it. There's no wrong way to work out.
I also heard like there with certain boxers
Mm-hmm.
like Alexander Usyk, Lomachenko, Terrence Crawford, they
Okay.
train MMA to help with their boxing. Could MMA really help train the body for specifically boxing?
Yeah, well, yeah, because MMA it's mixed martial arts. It's a mixture of all the different types of fighting styles brought together. So yes, it all like I said, it all helps. So um, wrestling might help you move your hips better, but or jujitsu might help you turn better. It all counts because it's all mixed martial arts. But at the end of the day, when you're doing boxing, make sure you're doing boxing. When you're wrestling, don't punch somebody when you're wrestling. Kids, don't do that. School, don't do that. But just understand there's separation in mixed martial arts for a reason. They have different styles of fighting.
Mm. So, what's your experience training with Terrence Crawford?
Terrence is probably one. He is one of the best in the world right now because it's not because of his style of fight. It's because of this. See, he has that killer, and a lot of people don't have that killer. You can have all the skills in the world, like you gotta have that killer. When you get in there, you gotta be mean. You gotta two F's given is what you should have, and that was my fighting style too. I didn't care. It was there was no when I saw you across the ring right now. If I thought of us being across the ring, Isaiah, yeah, I would be looking at you like this is the guy that tried to molest my kids. Oh, and that's all I needed. I'm biting your nose off, your lips, and your ears, and spitting them back in your face.
Wow.
Very intense moment. But that's the mentality you have to have. And Terrence has that mentality where, hey, don't touch my kids, and that's it. That you have to have that mentality. You can't be going in there. Oh man, we're buddies. Nah, that's not. We can do all that afterwards.
So, what is your predictions for the upcoming Crawford and Canelo fight?
It's gonna be tough. I'm going for the hometown hero, Terrence. We got to go in and handle business. He can't start slow. Because Terrence like to fill people out, but Canelo is not going to allow you to start slow. He's going to go right after you. But if both fighters are standing at the end of 12 rounds and they're standing there to you get the decision, they are not going to give it to Terrence. First of all, because Canelo has the belt, and if you don't beat his ass, or just put him on his butt a couple of times in the fight, uh, odds are they're going to give it to Canelo because he's the golden child. He's the guy. He's the money man that everyone wants to fight. So Terrence cannot let it go to a decision. He needs to go in there and handle business. Period.
Because Terrence keeps saying on the internet, like on XL Common stuff, that in this fight, he's the bigger fighter with longer reach,
Mm-hmm.
with a height advantage. But Canelo has the power, the ability to, if he can catch Terrence, he can knock him out.
Okay.
So what would Canelo need to do to break down Terrence?
Pressure him. Keep him bottled in. Not have him be so elusive. But again, we can talk all we want. I hate when people try to make predictions. You actually have to be in the fight, and you actually had when you can tell within the first few rounds how it's going to go down. So you have to fight the fight. We can predict all day long. Canelo has this ability. Terrence has this ability, but you got to just see it first. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be. It's got to happen.
Mm. And also, speaking of fighting, a lot of people are saying that John Jones is ducking Tom Aspinall
Hmm.
or whatever. So, what's your take on that?
John Jones can do whatever he wants, just like Terrence. Terrence can do whatever he wants. Canelo can do whatever he wants, because they've earned that right to do so because they've gone through all the wars. They've talked talked the talk and delivered. Terrence talked the talk, delivered. Canelo, whether it be in Spanish or broken English, he's talked the talk. he's handled his business. So John Jones, he don't have to fight if he don't want to. Just like Conor McGregor, he's a millionaire. Conor does not want to fight anymore. He wants to do a little arm thing and show up and be the life of the party and drink. He doesn't need to fight anymore. But Jones, Jones doesn't have to fight him. They want to fight him. Jones don't want to fight him, the other guy. So if he fights this guy, it's because he wants to, and he allows the other guy to do so. So he's earned that right.
Do you think that like the media is harassing him?
Yeah, they just want to see the fight. They want to see the old guy supposedly now with the young bull. Nah, stop it. You want to fight me, so everything. If I decide to fight, it'll be on my turn, and I think that's what he's doing right now. If I want to fight you, it's going to be on my terms. That's if I want to fight you. I can retire today, and you can have it because I don't have anything else to prove. I've beaten everybody that needs to be beat. Right.
Right.
There you go.
Because a lot of people say that like a lot of UFC fighters are afraid to get on Dana's bad side, but with John Jones, he doesn't care.
because John Jones got away with murder. With all the things he's done, he should have been gone. But he knows, Dana White knows that he's probably one of the better fighters in the world, so he's not gonna let that guy go. So he can slap Dana in the face with his penis, and he still keep him on the roster. Boop. Okay, you're still fighting.
Mm.
But am I right?
I mean, you are right.
There you go.
So I heard you run like an organization now called Culture Shock. Like, what's that about?
Well, it's out of my foundation, the Houston Alexander Foundation, where and this is like a subdivision of that, where we go into the schools and teach the kids about hip hop culture. Culture Shock School Tour is what we call it because eventually we want to go across the country to tour at other schools. And what we do is we go in and teach the kids about hip hop culture, being about music, dance, and art. Now, a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing and hearing nowadays, especially with the music, it's crazy because people think that rap music is all hip hop, and no, it's not. When you say hip hop, it's about the music, and it's about the dance, and it's about the art. When you talk about rapping, there's different styles of rap music, but yeah, the hip hop culture is not about just rap. And so what we do is we go on and teach the kids about that, about the beatboxing, about the DJing, about the rapping, and we all have fun doing it because they participate, and then we have the teachers participating, and so we just have one big party for an hour in the school.
Do you think that like nowadays with hip hop culture overall, like people have got it twisted around, and it's almost as if the art is disrespected. Like if you look at certain people, like Ice Spice,
Okay.
she doesn't really rap, but she kind of what they call it sing raps.
Well, here's the thing. Again, there's different styles because Lauryn Hill sing raps. And she's one of the best in the game. But that's not the point. The point is, if you respect the culture and you respect what you're doing as far as in the culture, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're an individual who's just taking pieces of it and just using it just to be using it, like Miley Cyrus did, she took a piece of it, she humped on toys and used rap music to do so, but she went back to her roots, which is like country and pop. She used rap for a little bit, but guess what? She came back to her original style of music. But when you got those people out there just using the culture and aspects of the culture to for their own personal gain, but don't give nothing back, that's when you're wrong. Give back to the culture that helps you get what you got.
So, who are your favorite hip hop artists now, or like, yeah, part of the hip hop community now?
Not hip hop artists. Who are your favorite? Who?
Hip hip hop
Nope, not hip hop. This is where we break everything down. Who is my favorite rapper?
rapper.
Yeah. Who is your favorite rapper? Now, one of my favorite rhymes. You know what? Obviously, Kendrick is one of my favorite rappers in hip hop culture. See, But I like guys who tell stories. But obviously, you got to like the guys that are have the party cuts. And as because I DJ as well. You got to have there has to be a balance in music, and that's what's happening right now. There's not a lot of balance in rap music because the industry is feeding you all the negative shit. So, um, like the popping of the pills and the guns and the violence, but there's no balance in, or maybe I'm not smart, maybe, and let me retract on that. The main source of distribution of the music is all negative. They're focusing on all the negative. The main people who are distributing the music, but on the internet there is a lot of balance of rap music that you can kind of pull from to get your flavor of rap music. But as far as the industry goes, with all the main people distributing the music, they're giving our kids negative music, and they should be doing that.
So, what do you think that there's a growing trend of like, because like if you look at certain rappers like Juice World, Little Peep,
Mm-hmm.
even as
It's not
far as
Juice World.
XXX Tentacion, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them explicitly mention like not necessarily suicidal ideations, but like pills, taking pills and stuff like that. Why do you think that
Yeah,
is?
they need therapy. That's therapy rap. They need to sit down with you and talk their problems out. I don't know. How do you be that depressed when you're making money? And it's not even when I say when you're making money, when you're making money doing what you love to do, right? If
Hmm.
I gave you $1 million right now because you're great at podcasting, are you want to kill yourself?
Mm.
No, right? Because you love doing this. So I just don't. Sometimes maybe it's a genetic on some of these guys, and maybe there's a lot of anxiety in today's society. Okay, and I'm not going to doubt that. There's a lot of just a lot of overall pressure and being this big person, I guess. But when you're doing what you love to do, there should be any depression behind it. I want to kill myself because I'm making all this money. Oh, nah, it doesn't work that way. Not with me, at least. Oh man, no, I want to kill myself.
So I also heard that you donated your kidney to
Yeah,
your
to
eldest
my
daughter.
oldest daughter, yes. She had a deficiency when she was a baby, and they said eventually she was going to need a kidney, and I was damn near twin when I got tested. So, you know, there you go. There was no. Oh no, I don't know about this. If there was no hesitation in that, so take it. So then I was back to work 2 days later.
That's it, just surgery, just recovery.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll take that back. I'm capping right there. Is that the word? Capping? No, no. Probably 3 or 4 days. I was back to work. Yeah, took the kidney out, and what the worst thing about giving a kidney to your child,
What?
Isaiah? The catheter. Do you know what that is,
Oh,
right?
yeah, I know.
Look at it. See that? Look at that. See that? No, hey, look at let's look both look at the camera. And when I say catheter, give that face. Catheter. Ooh. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know what you're
Ooh.
talking
Oh,
about.
man, that hurts. But I mean that's when I put a tube down your penis and make you pee out of it. Nah, that hurts. So that was worse than giving my kidney up. Jeez. But it was no hesitation on that. And my daughter's doing well right now. She's a CNA, so she probably know more about the medical field than most people in it.
So I also heard that you went to art school at some point.
Well, I was supposed to go to Savannah School of Art and Design, coming out of high school, but I didn't go because of my damn daughter, and she was conceived. So I decided to stay and actually take care of her. Go figure that. But yeah, and I didn't go, and I had a full ride scholarship to go to the East Coast for Savannah School of Art and Design.
You didn't.
I didn't go. That I chose what responsibility over going up and going to art school. Ooh.
If you look back on it now, like let's say your daughter wasn't in the picture, would you still go? Would have gone, or do you think that like even now you wouldn't want to do that?
You know what? I probably would have went. Let me think, Isaiah. No children at the time. Full scholarship, right? Yeah, I would have went. But that wasn't in the card. So and I don't regret any decision I've made after that.
So you also
I
expressed
need you to
that.
tuck your tie in, young man. Tuck your tie in. Yeah, we don't want you looking bad. There we go. Can't have a
Yeah.
good. There you go. There you go, brother. Isaiah smooth as hell, y'all. Boy.
So you also expressed that you are a DJ. So
Hmm.
when did you start doing that?
You know what? I pretended to be a DJ back when we were kids with a good friend of mine. His name was Verl Ray Jefferson. Yeah, he was the first one to start doing doing the turntable thing, and I would come, you know, I would dabble in DJing back in when we were kids, but I didn't really take it serious until in about 2013. But I've always kind of dabbled into it, but I took it serious, and because a friend of mine, the same friend that I practiced with couldn't do it because he had MS, so he couldn't DJ anymore, and I took the mantle from him and then decided to DJ full time, and every time I DJed, I always thought of him. He passed a couple years ago, and every time I DJ, I kind of take and use his spirit.
You said he had MS.
Yeah, it's like
What is that?
it's like a muscle disease where your muscles breaks down.
Over
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So yeah,
Well,
he died of some yellow socks from the hospital.
yellow socks.
Horrible. My friends probably looking down on like man, don't tell him about the yellow socks. Yeah, when he passed, he had some yellow hospital socks with the grip at the bottom. Horrible.
I was also gonna say, did you ever hear about like a long time ago about the controversy? I think it was of Suge Knight or whatever his name is.
With Suge Knight.
Suge Knight,
What?
yeah.
Hey, why do they say? Why does everybody say Suge Knight? Well, you know why? Because on the YouTube shorts, the guy with the voice, yeah, the guy that says all the voiceovers for they call him Suge Knight. I'm like, who the hell is Suge Knight? Suge Knight. What about Suge Knight?
So, oh,
That's what happened when you have big hands. So you there you go.
so like there was a controversy of like he was kind of like I don't know if I would say mobster, but he dictated a lot of the rap or
Now Suge Knight, from coming up in the game, Suge Knight was a guy that was in the industry. Because everybody was in the industry at the time in L.A., he was a bodyguard. He started off as a bodyguard, and he rose up from that. So if you're understanding the business from a bodyguard standpoint, and you're dealing with all these big wigs, you're gonna get all that information. So if you were sitting next to Joe Rogan and you had the job shadow Joe Rogan on his podcast for a whole year, guess who would have all the experience?
me.
You would. So that's what he did. He got all the experience from him being a bodyguard, then becoming a manager, then owning a label. So Suge Knight was a smart guy, and where he effed up at was he got he involved the streets with the label that was making so much money. And so at one point in time when you're that successful, you got to leave the streets alone, and that's that. And so there's no there's no way to do it. You can't be a gang and a record label at the same time. You see what happened to that.
And I believe,
We're talking about Suge Knight right now.
and I believe that the only guy that really stood up to him was like Eminem.
Eminem ain't sticking up to nobody. I don't care what nobody say. Stop it. See this narrative that everybody that Eminem was the and I think I saw the same clip you probably saw. Well, oh
Hmm.
man, Eminem didn't war. He was like, well, he wanted the smoke with Suge and those guys. Eminem, no, you did not. Okay, you're a white guy from Detroit, and just because you can rap doesn't mean you can fight or clap guns. So, I heard the story about how Eminem. Oh, he didn't want to. He wanted to confront them. Nah, you stop it with that narrative.
Mm. So while growing up, like at least through the rap community,
Mm-hmm.
was there anybody you really looked up to? Uh, Otherwise, like, did you ever look up to big names
No,
again, like
there was
Eminem?
the guy that one of the guys I looked up to um, locally. His name was Lanier Giveth, and they called him Bear. And he was with a group called the Young Rebels, and he was probably one of the better rappers from our city, from the city of Omaha. Um, and he was actually signed to Jam Master Jay Records, Run DMC's DJ record label, before Jam Master Jay passed. And he saw what the industry was back then. And this is when you know the industry is messed up in the eyes of somebody that's a really good dude. He stopped rapping because he saw the craziness in the culture. And he would travel to all these different places and he didn't like it. So he came back home. So and he was signed to my man's label, Jam Master Jay's label. So he was one of the guys I looked up to, and another guy coming up in the game was Ice T.
Ice-T?
Ice T was in the cheesy breaking movies
Oh, I
back
remember
then.
him.
But Ice T was one of the first guys I looked up to, as far as okay, that rapper I liked, because he was in the breaking movies first of all. And after that, he did. He was one of the first ones to start doing gangster rap, telling all the gangster stories. So yeah, Ice-T was a second person, industry wise.
Mm. What's your take? I actually didn't find out about this until recently, but I guess Terrence Crawford was in the latest Creed film,
Yeah,
or I believe he was in a
he
scene
was
where he
training.
trained the character. Would you ever go into the film industry, like
Oh
maybe
man,
as a
I've done a few things in the industry. I've worked with Danny Trejo. In one of his movies, I've done a Key and Peele. I did a episode with those guys. I've done a few things that I thought I actually did pretty good in acting. But also for maybe 5 seasons did a sketch comedy show called Omaha Live, where we're locally here in town every week after Saturday Night Live went off, we came on. So we were getting pretty good ratings because it was a sketch comedy show that I was involved with. So I've done a lot of stuff in front of the camera. So if you want to call it that, I wasn't in Creed, Terrence Crawford.
I don't know if you've been seeing this a lot on the internet, but 100 of you versus one gorilla, silverback gorilla. Who's
Come
winning?
on with the hijinks. First of all, the gorilla's biting first person's face off. So the first 10 or 15 people gonna get it anyway. So, but if we all had to grab the gorilla, I'm sure that if you grab a gorilla, you with 100 people, it's it's possible. But the first 15, 20 people gonna get their noses ripped apart. You're gonna get your ear. He's gonna tongue kiss your butt cheeks. Yeah, this guy's gonna bite anything and rip people apart. The first 15, at least the first 15. But the other people might be able to get him because he might be tired from ripping the other people apart. There you go. So there you go. We solved the mystery of the gorilla and the 100 people. Okay, the first 25 people are gonna die and get killed, but they're going to be the sacrificial lambs for the gorilla's going to get tired, and then the other people are going to jump on top of them, and there you go. We just solved it. Isaiah, what is he?
But like if all 100 of you had like the same mindset of like I'm afraid to, I don't want to get killed, how are you gonna band up?
Excuse me. The first 25 are going to get their arms ripped, face torn off, limbs. Your foot's going to get bit off. But again, from that point, Isaiah, the first 25 are going to tire out this ape, this silverback. And the other 75 people are going to be able to kick this monkey's ass. I'm sorry, this gorilla's ass. Because damn, a chimpanzee rips people's faces off. What do you think a big silverback is not gonna rip your face off? Jeez, we solved it. Put that on the internet right there. We solved the 100 men in gorilla controversy right here on your podcast.
What's I saw.
Right. Picture that first 25 just catching it. Man.
But what about like eye gouges?
Oh man, but the gorilla's gonna do anything and everything to a human being. Man, boy. Did you see a couple of years ago when that gorilla, he was dragging that baby in the zoo? He was taking his pinky finger, was just doing like this with the kid, and it like that's a kid. He's flipping the kid around like it ain't nothing, man. Come on, what do you think he's gonna do to a grown man in furious rage? He's playing with a kid. Hilarious.
They actually in a different podcast they asked Ryan Garcia the same question about 100 of him versus one gorilla.
And what did he say?
He said it'd probably take only 10.
Wrong. Let's repeat it, Isaiah. The first 25 men are getting ripped to shreds. Getting there. He's gonna be wearing human teeth because he's gonna bite people's jaws off. He's gonna bite your jaw off. First 25 is catching it, and the other 75 are gonna have the chance to get him because he's gonna be tired from beating their ass and ripping them apart. Next question.
Because they say that a gorilla could bench press a couple thousand pounds for reps.
I don't care how much they say. Man, come on, man. You got a guy. When a gorilla looks at you and can tear you from limb from limb, just even from a stare, that's when you know you're in trouble. Gorilla can look at you and just stare at you and probably rip you from limb. There you go.
They say in fighting, there's a psychological factor to it. Because Mike Tyson said while he was growing up, Customato would instill the mindset of you got to get to the opponent's head psychologically before you even get into fight with them. So what's your take on that?
I don't know about that, because psychologically, I don't think anybody could do anything to me when I was looking across the ring from the guy. You can talk all you want. We still have to fight. That's the bottom line. We still have to physically touch each other. So, but I guess if you got people who are weak-minded, maybe that's what they're talking about. You can psych out people who are weak-minded, and but if you are trained and you are a killer, you don't worry about none of that stuff. You don't worry about somebody talking crazy or anything like that. You just go in there physically, let your abilities do the talking. Like in the Conor McGregor, Megamenov?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes. He who was doing all the talking?
That was Conor McGregor.
And who got their ass whooped?
Conor
McGregor got his ass whooped because he almost got his jaw snapped off by Magomedov.
Yeah,
remember that fight?
That was a brutal fight.
Well, but he was trying to break that dude's jaw just by squeezing it. So yeah, so all that intimidation and all that mind stuff, it just all That's outside the ring. When you get inside the ring, that's a whole different story. That's it.
So up until now, what has fighting taught you about life overall?
Discipline. You know, a
Discipline.
lot of times when you come out of high school, there's no discipline. You know, there was you don't know what if you don't know what direction you're going into, whether it be education or any type of field of work. If you don't know what your goals are when you get out of high school, there's no discipline. So you're just you're dust in the wind. Oh, okay, my bad. I just lost focus there. But but anyway, you're not focused. You're not focused as a teenager if you don't have any type of a goal. So and when you got out of high school, did you have a goal?
Not
See,
really.
no
Not too
goal
good.
at all. But what? How many years did it take you to find a goal and to pursue it?
I mean, for me, like with the podcast, it took me a couple of years.
Yeah, you didn't it took you a couple of years to go. This is what I want to do,
Yeah.
right? And so that's why we're doing this today. And this is why when you email me, I said I would do it. You know why? Because you just never know. You're gonna owe me money in 10 years when you make all that money. Do you know why, Isaiah? Because I was one of the first guys to do your podcast, right?
Right.
There you go. You're gonna just remember this.
I'm not
10 years from
forgetting.
now, when Isaiah gets famous, like Joe Rogan, you're gonna owe me some money. You
I
hear
mean,
that?
I'm not gonna forget. I'm not gonna forget.
Can I get some money?
Right.
10 years from now, you become rich and famous.
Um, yeah.
Yes. Say yes or no.
Yes.
I want this on camera. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you guys heard it first. Isaiah, I can't wait to become rich and famous 10 years from now. I'm gonna be right there. I'll show up and Isaiah be like, "Be gone, peasant." I'm like, check the tape, check the podcast.
So
Be gone, peasant. Damn, Isaiah. Are you already turning me down? And it's not even 10 years in the future yet. Are you
turning you
turning me
down.
down?
I mean, it's on camera. It's permanent.
Thank you. That's all I want you to say. Next question.
So there's a bodybuilder. I forgot his name, but he says he's 260 pounds. He does a podcast where
Mm-hmm.
he'll interview boxers and MMA fighters and be
Uh-huh.
like, who wins in a street fight, me or you? So against a 260-pound bodybuilder,
Mm-hmm.
how would a street fight go?
How would a street guy fight with me?
Yeah,
Or anybody that's a professional fighter?
like against you in a street
Oh
fight.
man, let me see. First of all, you got a guy that big. You actually go at him. You don't run from him. You go at him. And guess what? I'm hitting you. I'm hitting you in your nads. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hit him in his. I'm gonna go down, pretend like I'm gonna hit him in his abdomen. But guess where I'm going, Isaiah?
Or
Right to the family jewels. Bow. Then you're gonna bend down, and when you bend down, I'm gonna knee you in your face, and I'm gonna take your nose with this knee and put it in the back of your skull. When you knee down, when you bend down from me hitting you in your balls. There you go. Fight's over.
I mean, you think just the groin would make him cry?
You know what he'll be? He'll be dust in the wind. That's the prediction. What's his name again?
His name is Bradley Martin.
All right. You see, that's how our fight will go. I'm hitting you in your balls. You're gonna fold down, and I'm gonna knee you in your face, and that'll be it.
I mean, because I think he had Devin Haney on his podcast. And Devin Haney was like, "I'm
What
gonna
did
beat
Devin?
you."
What did Devin say?
He said, "I'm gonna." I think he said, "I'm gonna beat you really bad."
Okay, I didn't say all that. See, I was real specific. Punch you in your balls. You fold down. I knee you in your face. End of the fight. See? Straight to the point.
It's crazy when these MMA fighters. I think one of them was Nate Diaz.
Mm-hmm.
He just totally. I mean, it wouldn't end well.
That's what Nate said.
Yeah, something like that. And
Okay, see
then
these guys are. I don't know. Explain how you're gonna end. You're gonna end it. See, do I have to say? Oh man, I'm gonna talk to you nice, get you all nice and buttered up, and then I'm gonna sucker punch you in your face. Nah, I'm gonna hit you in your balls. You're gonna fall down like a lawn chair at a picnic, and I'm gonna take this big old knee and I'm gonna knee you in your face. End of the fight. Like, all right, there you go. Next question, Isaiah.
another thing is, was there anybody you really looked up to growing up in terms of boxing or MMA?
Oh
Like your
man, my
big
mother.
names?
She was the first person to box me out. Mom gave me the first two-piece combo. Now, let me explain to you, ladies and gentlemen. Um, Raising up in a black home, being raised in a black home. I was 14 years old, and and guess what, Isaiah? I talked back to my mother, and all I saw was I saw red. I saw I saw the room turn red, and she looked at me, and I got the first two-piece combo from my mother. Down goes Frazier. I went down, and never talked back to my mother after that.
So it gave you a lot of humility.
Well, especially when you're in your drawers. She punched me in my drawers. I talked back. First of all, I was in my underwear talking crazy to my mother. Boom, two-piece combo. You can't talk crazy with your mother with your drawers on. Okay,
And the
that was it.
and the crazy part is that nowadays a lot of kids would be like, "That's abuse. You can't
Oh,
do
okay,
that."
all right. Some of these kids need their ass whooped. I'm gonna say that on camera too. Sometimes some of these kids need your ass whooped, but they're not. No, you don't try to kill kids, but yeah, some of these kids need their ass whooped.
So another thing is, why do you?
So, what should we whoop your ass with? belt, belt, hand, no, shoe, whatever.
Knowing what you know now,
Hmm.
if you were, let's say, young again, teenage years,
Hmm.
what's something you wish you could have known then, or something you could have done then?
That's a good question. What if I would what would I have known now that I were told a 18-year-old me?
Hmm.
Um, Patience.
Patience.
Yeah, because a lot of people now, even now, a lot of people aren't patient because they want it now. They want it now, and you have to work for because I've always been a hard worker, but you have to be patient and let the process. There's a process. Podcasting. There was a process that you took. I'm gonna wear this suit. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. This is how my podcast is gonna look. You had a vision, and but you were patient about putting it together, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I would tell the 18-year-old me to be patient and um, trust the process. I know that sounds cliche, but there is a process to everything. Whether you fight, or whether you are in business, or whether you're pursuing a career, you gotta be patient.
And what should somebody's mindset be on money? Because money is like, I feel like it's an overload.
Make the money and don't let money make you. Make the money, but don't let money make you. Money is. I was always taught that money was a tool. So I don't, I'm not going to take anyone's life over money, over paper. I'm going to make the money, use the money as a tool to get where you want to get next. That's it.
Because
Real simple.
because especially in like,
I'll take that back. Let me take that back. Because if I had money to spare, I would probably go and take the hair off my butt and put it on top of my head and use butt plugs for my hair and get that done. I'll take that back. I would take money and put it right there on my head.
You'd put hair on your head?
I want hair. I still want hair,
I
Isaiah.
mean, you look good without
I still
hair.
want hair, Isaiah. I would take that money and I would put it right there on top of my.
I mean, I'm saying you look good without hair.
Oh man, that took a left turn.
I mean, you're in great shape and stuff.
No, but hey, don't make the money. Don't let the money make you, like I just attempted to do by saying I would take money and use it to put hair on my head.
As growing up, if you had to give advice to young
uh,
men, what would your advice be for
for
women?
for
Women,
for
like,
women.
yeah, what have you learned about women over the years?
Oh man, no, that's a good question, especially after raising daughters. Um, man, what advice would I give a young lady growing up? Um, Respect yourself. So if you respect who you are as a person and demand respect from others, respect yourself. Real simple. You don't have to be difficult. You know, and just respect yourself and be confident in the way you are being respected. And all those other things will fall into place. You know, you don't have to argue with other people. If you respect yourself, you don't have to, think you're getting mistreated. If you're respecting yourself, so respect yourself.
And it requires building yourself over time,
Yeah,
right?
but respecting yourself and being comfortable in your own skin, that right there, that's worth a lot. So young ladies out there, respect yourself.
What about for young men too?
Same thing. Be comfortable in your own skin. You know, understand um, that you have to be patient, and this is where everything goes 360. Respect yourself. Be patient, and just trust the process. Well, again, it's another 360, but you have to respect yourself first.
And do you think do you think because they say that like a lot of men in the modern day dating market struggle with getting with women, like dating and long term commitments. Do you think it has much to
No,
do with
that's the internet. You know, the internet destroyed, the way people interact. So I don't care if you're dating or talking to someone, and the internet, if it's easy for you to be a weekend warrior on the keyboard, for instance. Oh man, you're not tough, blah blah blah. And there's somebody at home in some biker shorts and jellies with a tube top on, being tough on the internet. So I think the internet it has allowed a lot of people to not have the interaction, not have the eye contact, or not have it, they are the people are just kind of withdrawn from reality because they're already living in a fantasy on the internet. So you can't if you're dating someone or you're expecting a job or anything like that, and the internet is your probe on how you want to do things, you're in trouble because the real world is a bitch, right?
right?
Man, so if you can't handle the real world, the internet is easy because you can be whoever you want to on the internet. You can be and if I showed up today and you thought you've seen all this research, you've seen pictures of me, and I showed up and I'm a dwarf with a bald head and tattoos, you're like, oh, you're not Houston Alexander. Yeah, I just catfished you for this podcast. The whole point is that the internet got people's mind twisted in a way to where they don't want to be be themselves. Be yourself. You don't need the internet for that. Just learn to communicate face to face. Communication.
And you should always be willing to put in the work every
Yeah,
day.
put in the work, but learn communication. Communication is real important. No matter not, and I'm just not talking about relationships. I'm talking about communication in general with people. And being a good person is important too. because we got plenty of assholes walking around, but we got very few good people walking around. So be a good person.
Okay. Well, that's the end of the podcast for this
That's
episode.
hold on, let me see that clock there,
Okay.
buddy.
Yeah.
Let me see. Look, that's a whole. Oh, we only.
That was quick.
That was quick.
I was,
But you know why it was quick? Because it was natural. It's a natural conversation. There's nothing forced, and you're a good dude. You're a good guy, and I can see that when you make that money 10 years from now, I'm going to collect. I'm going to ask for that money. And you, so I want you to look at that camera and say, I'm going to give you Houston Alexander. I'm going to give you that money 10 years from now.
I'll make sure Houston is compensated. I didn't.
He's gonna do me like trading places. $1. Like, no, but not. I mean, I have all the confidence in you, brother. Keep at it. And the way you're dressed, and the way you're approaching this, you have the right attitude. So, man, good luck to you, and just thank you for having me. Do this for you, brother.
I mean, it was more important for you to be in the podcast. I mean, the student stuff is nice, but just the opportunity to learn from you.
But it's not even a learning process, man. It's just, again, doing the right things for the right people, and you just never know, who needs the help. And I've always been that type of way. You just never know who needs the help, and you might not necessarily need the help, but you ask, and I'm here.
Okay. Well, thank you, viewers, for joining in on Raise the Glass podcast. Like I said, I thank Houston a lot for being on this podcast. Such a great guest.
I'll take that back. I shouldn't have been here because you just outdressed me today. I got a tank top. You just outdressed me today, Isaiah. I'm very angry with you. See that look on my face? Oh, you see how mad I got?
I feel like your life is on comedy. Like, you got to be a comedian.
Oh man, you got to laugh, man. That's another thing. You have to laugh. You have to laugh stop from crying. So I'm still angry with you for outdressing me today. Didn't expect it. Go do your outro, brother.
All right. Thank you guys for watching, and tune in for the next episode of Raise the Glass podcast. Where here, my philosophy is you can learn from anything, anyone, anywhere, and at any time.